Hello, welcome back to NJCDC's The Loft. Today, we welcome Adam Jawiech, the International High School Site Director. How are you doing today?
Doing great, Danny. How are you?
Yo, I'm
Beautiful
doing great.
Day out.
It is. You know, it's a beautiful day to have a podcast. You
Yes,
know,
it is. Yes,
it's a long time coming for you getting here in the studio, and now you're finally here. I'm excited to have you on to talk about your programs.
I'm excited. You got quite the setup here. We're gonna have to mimic something like this back at International.
I thank you. I definitely took some effort.
Okay.
You know, but I'm sure you guys are gonna have some great podcasting on your end. Yeah. Well, firstly, can you kind of introduce yourself, which particular programs that you're involved with? Because you're kind of directing more than a few at International.
Yeah, so I'm the site director at International. I oversee 3 programs. The first being full service community schools, which is the one I was originally hired to oversee at JATS, the Joseph A. Taub Middle School, before I was transferred to International. And at International, I took on 2 more responsibilities, 2 more programs, which is the 21st Century Learning Center and outreach for at-risk youth through DCF.
Can you kind of describe or give an overview of these 3 programs or these programs, just to give us a general sense first of what exactly you do?
So the programs are all very similar. They have slight differences. The main difference really is in OTARI, Outreach for At-Risk Youth. It has a requirement where we have to forge relationships between the students and the police officers, which is great, I think, for general safety, for their community involvement. The police here in Paterson are amazing. As for full service and 21st Century, they're a lot more academic and enrichment based, and family and community based as well. The main difference, I will say, between full service community schools and the rest are the integrated supports, right? The other pillars kind of fall in line with the other programs, but the integrated supports being a licensed clinician in the building and a full service community school health center in the building, where we have different doctors come in that the kids can see right in school. We have eye doctors, pediatricians, dentists, and they do a lot of the work there. Dentist does cleanings, and I don't believe we do extractions there, but they'd refer you out to maybe go to their practice a little later. Yeah. But that's one of my favorite things about full service, is that the parents don't have to call out of work, lose a day's wage. A kid doesn't have to be absent for the day, and they get whatever medical things they need done in the school.
Yeah, for sure.
To the best of our ability and what we're allowed to do.
Yeah, 100%. And I know, like, when I spoke with Alana Ross, and she's the full service community schools director over at John F. Kennedy High School, and it's kind of the first I'm hearing of a program kind of like this, where it's like, you know, you have, first of all, I could maybe believe doctors. I mean, you're telling me about dentists and stuff. I'm like, okay, that's kind of like that's kind of different, you know. That's awesome. Yeah, it's great. So I'm sure, like, you know, over at International, you guys are using the full scopes, really taking advantage of that program. But that's awesome. Absolutely.
And the big thing about it too is, right, we're big on attendance. One of our big goals is to reduce chronic absenteeism. And this is a great opportunity to do that. Now, whenever kids call out sick, what we do is we contact the family and we tell them, hey, thank you so much for providing a doctor's note, but did you know that we have this in this program? And we tell them 100 times because they're not, you know, they might not see it the first time. When I was a kid, if someone gives me a piece of paper to bring home, it's going to be at the bottom of my backpack by the end of the day, like underneath a bagel and like a carton of milk. So we do have to keep reaching out. But it's really rewarding seeing the kids get the healthcare they need with or without insurance right in the school.
Okay. 100%. Let's kind of shift a little bit to the teen center, right? So when I was going to Garrett Morgan Academy, which I think was sharing a building with International High School.
Yes, they had the 4th floor. Yeah.
Yeah, and then now it's like they're integrated, I believe, now with International completely. I'm not sure exactly what this.
Yeah, so there is no more Garrett Morgan, so International is just kind of its own school.
Okay. Yes.
I don't necessarily know the history.
Yeah.
But no. We do still have some of that branding on the 4th floor. It still says Garrett Morgan Academy on my right outside the teen center, actually.
Okay, so the teen center is now on the top floor of
it's on the 4th floor. It's room 418. It was like a double classroom. It's kind of like 2 classrooms, but it's connected, which is great. I know where it used to be.
Yeah.
But I prefer this room because where it used to be, it had a set of open stairs,
Yeah.
and the kids might have been a little too loud, and it was right above the library. So
Oh
I
yeah.
like that we're in our own space, and the kids can be loud, nearly as loud as they want to be
Yeah.
without disturbing any instruction time or any kids studying during lunch or anything
Yeah,
like
for
that.
sure. I remember like that's where I was when I was participating in the teen center program there.
Yeah, yeah.
Those are definitely issues that definitely need like addressing. Are
Mhm.
there any other things happening on the fourth floor that are teen center related? Or maybe is the whole fourth floor now your domain with all your programs? Like what
No,
is it?
no, 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 no. Oh man, that'd be crazy, man. I'd have like 100 staff members or something.
Yeah.
No, there's other classrooms on the fourth floor, right? We
Hmm.
are just occupy one of the big ones
Okay.
there. The other thing there is an office space there that we give to our clinician, that our clinician sits in, and she sees our kids there. That's where the therapy happens, and it's 5 steps away, right? It's right across the hall, which I really like because so often I see kids. Maybe needing a little bit of support or wanting to talk to somebody. And most of the time they'll talk to us, right? But we do want to give them the support of a professional.
Yeah.
So we walk them over across the hall and we tell them a little bit about what therapy looks like. And then we send them home with a permission slip. They bring it back signed, and then they have that
Oh wow.
support. So I like it being very close to
That's
us.
great.
There was an option to have it downstairs. I much preferred to have it on the fourth floor. I was able to build a good relationship with our therapist
Yeah.
and have this sort of open dialogue with them.
That's perfect. Yeah, I wish I had that when I was in
Yeah,
when I
right.
was in it. Yeah. There
That's
it
what I
is.
always say. Like, I wish I had these things when I was a kid.
Yeah, 100%, which is good, which is
Yeah,
means it's
yeah.
a good thing. It's the
Uh-huh.
right thing. Um, now can we speak on a little bit? Can you speak on the more specifics of the outreach for at-risk youth program?
Yeah. So they're, like I said, they're all very similar. That's why it was. I don't want to say it was a completely seamless transition, taking on 2 more programs,
Yeah.
but there are a lot of shared responsibilities and goals. Their mission statements are very, very similar, to be honest. But again, the main difference is building a connection with the local police department, which we have.
Yeah.
Paterson Police Department has a unit that has Dave the dog there, and we brought
Oh
him
yeah.
in um, for a blood drive we'd done for our really nervous students, and he helped calm our students down a little bit. He's like a celebrity. Whenever he walks into the school,
Hmm.
everyone's like, oh my god, he's so cute, can I pet him, can I, so the kids seeing a police officer in the building a couple times or just more often makes them, I think, a little more comfortable with what police are. And um they're not necessarily stuck in that narrative of like it's us versus them.
Yeah.
Like, they're very much here to serve the community, and the kids are part of the community as much as the police officers are.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I really like seeing them interact in that way.
So what other ways are they interacting with like the police officers besides the scenario you kind of told me about right now?
So we contact police officers for a couple different events, not necessarily happening yet at International, but we do plan this year to have both the fire department and the police come out to do a little bit of a field day barbecue
Okay.
in the warmer months in 2026. But generally, I haven't dug my claws into Otari as much as I want to yet, because different reporting requirements. Full service and 21st century require a
Okay.
lot more, and they have a lot more requirements.
Yeah.
Whereas Otari, I'm meeting all of those requirements, but I'm focusing less on some, not intentionally. It was very overwhelming my first year, but now that
Hmm.
I've got the hang of it, and I know International like the back of my hand. I know the programs like the back of my hand.
Yeah.
The second year, I'll be able to definitely zero in on Otari a lot more now that I have full service in 21st century, like, in the bag,
Yeah,
essentially.
for sure. And I know like with as far as like I've been around for like about a year, over a year now. And it was my understanding that you were teen center, but then also full service. And then now recently I just recently learned that you're part of this program too. So I'm sure like, you've been kind of given many responsibilities, wearing different hats. So I
Yes,
mean that's
yes.
definitely understandable.
Uh-huh.
So as far as family engagement goes throughout your programs, how does that usually look like?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So, full service community schools in 21st century require um, I don't want to say PTO because that's not actually what it is. It's a community advisory board, but
Okay.
it functions very similarly to a PTO, We meet monthly, sometimes bi-monthly, depending on the need of the parents or the availability. But we meet with them and we sort of tell them like, hey, this is how much we have for this year, right? In this line, in the community advisory board line, what do we want to do with it? Do we want to host events for the parents? Because we already do that. I have different lines where that's what we do. Or do we want to do something for the kids? Or do we want to go on a trip, some sort of professional development for you guys, or bring some parents along, maybe some job coaching, whatever it is, or some community service opportunities. So I really let them decide, because it is the community advisory board, and sure, I'm putting it together, but it's less about me and it's more about them. I am in a role, I'm part of the community, that's true, but it is their town, it is their city, it's their community, and I want them to really do what they like within the scope of our programming. But besides the community advisory board, we put on all these other events. Like I said, we had an amazing back to school bash, I called it, last year. It was new to international, and I really wanted to get the families in. That was very, very successful. We had, really fun, that we had like hot dogs, cotton candy, popcorn, like on back to school night, like some activities for them. We had movies playing. It was really cool.
Yeah.
We had a Hispanic Heritage Night. There's a Muslim Heritage Festival in January. And then we also did a Ramadan Iftar. Iftar just means breakfast, literally to break fast at night. And that was our most successful one. We got over 130 people in. And the reason I know that is because our cafeteria only has 130 chairs, and we had to get more chairs to stick in the atrium.
Oh, wow.
That was a potluck. That was really, really cool. And the community came out. It was really awesome seeing everyone there, because it wasn't just about Muslims. Like, it was, I to be honest, I think maybe more non-Muslims showed up than Muslims, which is great, because we all go to everyone's thing, right? We're all going to the Christmas stuff. Sure. We're going to everything. So it was great to see everyone out for that, and bring their dishes that they, their favorite dishes that their family makes, and we could all share our cultures that way.
Yeah, 100%. I know, speaking of that particular event, we were speaking a little bit before we started the podcast, and I know a lot of what you guys do is planning for these events along with the students, and you have like a student advisory board.
Yeah.
So can you kind of share what that looks like, or what would you call them? Student ambassadors?
Yes,
I would say
our student ambassadors. Yeah, it basically is an advisory board with our student ambassadors and our delegates there. So it runs a little bit like an SGO, Student Government Association. SGA, Student Government Association. And we meet with the kids weekly, sometimes twice weekly, and we discuss everything. We discuss, first and foremost, their grades. Right, there is a grade requirement. Stay in the SGA. But we work with them, and we make sure, like, if they're slipping a little bit, we get them the support, usually through tutoring in our after school programs, to get back into good graces, as far as grades go.
Yeah.
And we plan events with the kids. So a lot of these events are student-based events, because they're the SGA and they're student ambassadors, and they represent the school. So sometimes it's a fundraiser for a certain class, or a fundraiser for a charity. Like, we raised quite a bit of money that we've donated to humanitarian aid in Gaza, and the kids love that, because it's really easy. You go buy some cotton candy, and then the proceeds go to like a great cause. But specifically for this Ramadan Iftar, right? We've done a lot of events with them in the past, but this was closer to the end of the year. And I was thinking, we give these kids a lot of responsibility, but not enough, I don't think. So we really wanted to make this theirs, because we had a couple Muslim students and their non-Muslim friends come up to us and say, hey, we want to do something for Ramadan, which is a little difficult, because the sun was setting at around 8:00. So I'm trying to remember when exactly it was. I think it was like 7:30 to 8 at that time. So how do we do something this late, number one? And number two, what is it going to be? It can't be food related if it's early. So if it's food related, it's got to be late. They landed on a potluck iftar. And I figured, what, let's have fun with the kids. Let's not just put this on together. Let's teach them some new skills too. So we decided it was going to be a potluck, but we wanted to cook a large portion of the food. So we got, I think it was like 50 pounds of chicken legs and 2 immersion cookers. And I taught the kids how to cook them sous vide, which is in these BPA-free vacuum sealed plastic bags. They're cooked in a water bath, and they're spiced and seasoned inside the bags, right? They cook to the perfect temperature, whatever you want them to.
Mhm.
And then we got the color on them by putting them in the oven later, large trays. Those came out awesome. The kids really enjoyed
Yeah.
that. We made this Mediterranean, like it's sort of like an Arab style rice.
Okay.
We made, man, I think we used like two, 3 big bags of rice. It was a lot of rice that we
Yeah.
used. It
Yeah.
was a lot of rice. And then we made kanafe, which is this traditional Palestinian dessert with phyllo dough on top, usually colored red or orange,
Hmm.
and then with cheese on the bottom, some pistachio on top, and simple syrup. So the kids felt like, wow, we have a cooking program now.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's
That's
what
what
it's
it
for. A
is.
lot of the supplies that we got, I didn't want to just get these supplies, these immersion cookers, this vacuum sealer, these pots and pans, just for one event, right? It's now we're going to do some sort of cooking program in the coming school year. But I'm sorry, I'm rambling on a little
Oh no, it's fine. Yeah.
about this. But the most important thing here was that I put the responsibility entirely on the kids for the event happening, right?
Yeah.
For what the event entailed, for the food and the cooking, I took care of that, obviously, right? But for the event actually being successful, I left that up to them. So we had a little bit of a hiccup, right? So we had released the flyer and the RSVP QR code 2 weeks prior, which is plenty of time, right? Ramadan's only a month, and it was 2 weeks prior. So a week before, I go to the kids, guys. It looks like we're not having this event. We don't have enough RSVPs, and they were very upset. And they're like, "What do you mean we don't? There's only 10 on there. I only see 10." And I told you guys, of course people can come in without RSVPing, but I need to know, is there a general base of people or a general group of people that are going to come to ensure that we have an event at all, right? We're not going to have an event for 10 people.
Yeah.
We could, it'd be something smaller, but we wouldn't go all out. And I told them, we're probably gonna have to cancel. And I like, in a positive way, guilted them a little bit, because I reminded them that this was their responsibility.
Yeah.
I told them to go out and ask their family, friends, their community. The next time you go to the bodega to get your hot Cheetos or your Takis, ask the guy, like, "Hey, we have this event. Would you like to come and bring a dish?" And
Yeah.
a lot of these bodegas, they cook in there. Like, they have little kitchens in there. They can bring something, whether it be empanadas or something. They don't even need to bring something. Just show up. You're part of the community.
Yeah.
So I really put that pressure on them, and they didn't deliver. So after a little bit of a guilt trip, a nice soft guilt trip,
There
the
you go.
next day, I think it was like 2 p.m. or so, I checked the numbers, and we were at 90.
Wow. That's a big jump. That's
Yes,
a big jump.
exactly. So these kids banded together, and they finally did what we were asking them to do.
Hmm.
I think it was just an expectation of, well, the adults are going to handle this the same way they always have in our lives, which is fine. We're the adults. I get that. And we bail them out because they're kids, and we love them, and
Yeah.
we're here to support them and teach them. But this is their thing. They came to me with this idea. I greenlit it as long as they were the ones bringing the people,
Yeah.
right? And 90 turned into 120 RSVPs. And then
Wow.
I would guess we had close to like 150, almost 160 people at the event, night of, way more than I expected. Like I said, we had to bring chairs out into the atrium and tables and start setting up there. So it was a really, really successful event.
It was a full house.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the kids genuinely were so proud of themselves, and they were so happy because, like, the people are there because of them. All I did was create the flyer, the RSVP, and I posted it on Google Classrooms, right, for the whole school to see and for people to invite their families. After that, it was up to the kids.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't want to say they surprised me. Like, I knew they were always capable, but I really was surprised to see like that insane, an 80 person, and this isn't 80 people, this is like 80 families essentially, right?
Yeah.
A jump to that quickly overnight.
That's
So
fantastic.
we're going to be doing a lot of events where the kids are the ones planning it out a lot more next year.
100%. That's like a great experience too for them as they're like going into adulthood. And I know, like, the school year just ended recently, so I'm sure the seniors and stuff that are moving on to college or whatnot, I'm sure these are going to be enriching experiences that'll definitely take them a long way.
Absolutely. Just that weight of responsibility
Yeah.
is very important to feel before you get to college, where nobody's pushing you to improve your grades anymore. Nobody's pushing you to go and do this or do that or do anything with your day besides scrolling on TikTok.
Yeah.
You have that freedom in college, and which is nice to feel, but for some it can be a little too free. without, again, that weight of responsibility, having
For
felt it.
sure.
So I hope that, I hope that this had a positive impact on the seniors.
Yeah, 100%. Shifting gears a little bit, I want
Yeah.
to talk also about the AmeriCorps program. I know we've talked
Mm-mm.
about the AmeriCorps program many times on the podcast, and I know they're stationed at a few different sites, and I know one of those sites are international high schools. So, can you talk about how the AmeriCorps members are integrated within your programs?
Yeah, it's a great question. So our AmeriCorps function as mentors and tutors. I have a big focus, especially with them. I have a really big focus on connecting with the students. That's the main thing, right? The academics will take care of, the enrichment will take care of, the trips will take care of. But I want you to connect with students first, because having that open dialogue with the kids is more important than being this like adult figure, right?
Yeah,
Y- y- they know you're adults, right? But they need to learn that you're one of the, and I hate to say this, one of the cool adults, right? Because we're not stuck with them in a classroom all day. So kids are generally, of course, they connect with their teachers, and there's like opportunities for that, but it's more difficult when we have like bell to bell instruction, which I think is necessary. It's more difficult to connect with the teachers because the teachers have to teach the whole time, right? And they don't get that opportunity to connect with adults in the building. So us being there, almost being like the cool aunts and uncles, is really important, because we get to know the kids in a totally different way than the teachers do. And the reason this is important, and I had a little bit of a training session after the first instance of this, but there was an instance where, and this happened again multiple times, but just one specific I'll talk about. There's a student that I know that they are usually a little more chipper, a little more lively, jokey, and I saw them sitting at the table, and I went over, and I watched them for a little bit. They were very down, and I asked, "Hey, what's up? Why don't we go talk outside?" And I took them to the therapist office. It was a Friday, and we don't have well, at least we didn't have therapists on Fridays this past year, but we will this going year,
okay.
this coming year. So I sat in there and talked with them, and they told me that they were not having the best thoughts. They weren't doing so well mentally. So, I shifted gears. We spent maybe 2-3 hours talking about what this student was going through. They left with a little positive outlook on life.
Okay.
And I also recommended therapy with our clinician.
100%.
So on Monday, I introduced them to our clinician, and they became friends like immediately. So this student has greatly benefited. And now I see, after just a couple of weeks and a month, at the time, it was like a month and a week or so of just some mentorship and some therapy, the kid is not only back to what we'd call normal, but like much better. Like their outlook on life has drastically changed. They're a lot more positive. They're excited to graduate.
Yeah.
They're a junior, but they're excited to get into their senior year and start applying for colleges and find a role that suits them.
That's amazing. That's how you really can see the impact that you're making with all these programs. There's always difficulties in the background. Sometimes you have to try to make these work, put out some fires administratively. At the end of the day, this is what you're doing for these students. You really are actually doing something for these youth, and you're really making a difference. So I'm sure that's very fulfilling.
Yes, and I'd like to throw in too. What ends up happening is, because there are so many things going on at home that you don't always know about, it's kind of our job to figure out what those things are. We're not necessarily guidance or school counselors, right?
Mhm.
But these kids trust us enough, and hopefully, right, to a point where they might share some of these things. We share this with guidance, and then we'll share these very delicately and privately with teachers, not even to go into specifics, just to let them know, can you please just handle with care a little bit? The student's going through some things. And that's when we, talk to admin, and we let them know, like, hey, this kid's going through XYZ. Let's provide as much support as we can. And this is as simple as going into Infinite Campus. It's a software we use to track students' grades and attendance. The kids you see every day, just going in, checking their grades once in a while. If a kid 2 marking periods in a row had A's and then has a D in the 3rd marking period, something's going on.
Yeah.
It could be something social in the school. That's maybe a little bit of a quicker fix, or it could be something emotional, psychological, could be family related, could be abuse, could be anything.
Yeah.
Right. I've had students come and tell me, hey, we don't have a home right now. Like, this happened all of a sudden. And that's why we're there. right? We're there to provide them that support. We connect them with all the resources. We of course provide food because we have a food pantry there, and all of the medical support that they need, that at least that we can offer in the school. And then we connect them with our case manager over at NJCDC that can help them with things like whether it's fighting against eviction or rent assistance, whatever it is. Like I love being that resource for the kids, and my staff have really embodied that spirit of like being in service to the children and the teachers too, right? The teachers come and they'll vent to us sometimes, and we're open ears and, well, oh, I see how you feel. And then we're friendly faces that aren't just quote unquote school staff, right? And the school staff are awesome, by the way. I've genuinely, just a quick shout out to International. I have never been in a more friendly school in my life. Like I've worked in schools for years, and the people there are amazing, and it really, you feel it it's from the top down. That's where it is. Dr. Catherine Forfia, she's wonderful. She knows, I would genuinely bet money that she knows every student's name in the building. We have about 660 students. She's never walked past a kid she doesn't know the name of. It's amazing. And she has this open door policy with teachers, students, whoever. And you feel that really good energy radiating from her. And she is the same with the teachers as she is with the students. It's very warm, welcoming, open. She's very keen to solve problems instead of acknowledge that there's a problem and then freak out over it.
Yeah.
So she's a big problem solver, and I think she calms down the staff and the students a lot. And you see that, like, just the culture, the climate, the culture of the building is totally different. And I've worked with a lot of great admins, but I really have to give Dr. Catherine Forfia and VP Matthew Caruso like their flowers, because I've never seen a building run so well. It's genuinely amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I wish I'd known her in my time. That
Yeah,
sounds
right?
great. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
How do you measure success within your programs?
So that's a great question. There are multiple ways we measure success. There's the very obvious one that helps us get a little more funding in the future, helps us get these grants, which is the data. We take a lot of data. To give you just a little bit of like an example of the data that we take, we'll take data on which kids have participated in our programs, which programs. Of course, we have attendance sheets. That's very important. We also then take the students that have participated in our programs, we take their attendance and we compare them to the year before full service existed, right, or was in the school. We compare that to the year then full service is here, or the ones that are involved in my after school program, especially those kids, they love the program. So they'll show up specifically for the program. I have, I guess to really zoom in a little bit, I have a couple kids that come and play Super Smash Brothers every day together. And they never miss a day of school. Like they never do, because they know that is what they're going to do at the end of the day. Yeah. And that Adam's going to come by and we're going to beat him in Super Smash and we're going to talk some trash and it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
But so it's obviously the data is there and the data looks great. The data looks awesome. The data is positive. Our on average, students enrolled in the after school program are less likely to be chronically absent than students that are not enrolled. So we see tangible change there. And we're very close to that 96% attendance that we're striving for. That's the goal, right, of all schools, to hit 96% at the least. The other less tangible but observable ways is the attitude of the children, right? Mm-hmm. You see them advocating for themselves all of a sudden. You see them opening up to adults. I really like to bridge the gap between teacher and student, because, students come to me and they think, or they tell me, so-and-so teacher is so mean and she did this and that. Whereas I know that teacher to be like a teddy bear.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you mean? Like this, that's not possible. Yeah. You are misunderstanding, or, maybe they're having a bad day. They're humans too. So it's both. It's a little bit of both. I definitely haven't been a super cuddly teddy bear every single day of my life, so I can understand if that's the case. But more often than not, it's the kids misunderstanding that if a teacher's a little tough on you, they care about you. They genuinely care about you. It's when the teachers don't care anymore. If you are goofing off in class, not paying attention, not doing your work, whatever, and the teacher stops caring, that is when you worry. That means, like, I have disappointed this teacher so much that they don't care, or this teacher doesn't care at all, right? But if a teacher is on your case a little bit, it means they care. And there's one student specifically, um, I can think of, they used to come to me and say, this teacher's so mean. They hate me. They this, they that. And the student was new to the school. And I knew this teacher to be a great teacher. Like
Yeah.
whatever the kid was saying, I knew that this teacher's a great teacher. So I told the student, give it some time, do your work, do your homework, pay attention in class, don't talk, just do everything that is asked of you without question, just for a week, and see what it looks like. Their grades improved. The teacher started not even, I don't want to say treating them differently, but getting off their case a little bit, because now they understand, the teacher understands, oh, now this kid is where I need them to be.
Yeah.
Right. And now they actually have a great relationship with the teacher, and this has become their favorite teacher. So just
Oh,
in
wow.
talking to another adult in
Yeah.
the building who knows the adults better than they do, they've built this relationship with the teacher that otherwise they would have gone, 30 years later, think, man, I had this super mean math teacher, and which isn't true at all. Like, this teacher is a pleasure to be around.
That's great. That's fantastic. And I know, like, you have, your a good relationship with the teachers. I don't think, and it goes back to the point where you were saying earlier of your new location, where now you can make relationships with the clinician that was there, but also you're right next to teachers in the classrooms as well. You know what I mean? And so, like, you're also having that interaction, which is definitely, I don't think was a kind of a thing when I was during my time at the teen center program, because it was just the location was just kind of out of the way, like next to the library, you know what I mean, next to the cafeteria, where not necessarily any classrooms were around either. I see the changes. I see the impact that these new changes have made, and I think that it's for the better for sure.
No, that's a really great point. When I was at JATS, I still had a great relationship with the teachers, but I only had one classroom near me. It was the music classroom. So of course I was the closest with the music teacher.
Yeah.
Great guy, by the way.
Yeah.
But it was harder because I like to be out in the hallways when the bell rings. Number one, to get the kids out of my room when the lunch period ends, because they like to, oh, just one more game of pool, one more game of Super Smash, one more. No, we got to go.
Yeah.
You got to
Yeah.
get to your class. So I like to usher them out and then welcome the new kids in. And that gives me also time to interact with the teachers.
Yeah,
Hey, how
for
are you
sure.
doing, Miss Whatever or Mr. Whoever? How are you?
Hmm.
How did exams go? How are you? How did the kids do? How's your family? How's your mother? How's et cetera?
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So
perfect.
yeah, so having that visibility in the hallways and amongst the teachers is really, really important to me.
Yeah, especially, and you kind of talking about bridging the gap between the students and the teachers, and I think that's like the perfect way to go about that. So that works out for everybody. Yeah.
Absolutely. And, I do want to include one more thing that we didn't really get to talk about. Our food pantry, right? I know I just basically brought this up before. Our food pantry has had so much impact on our families. I didn't know that we had this many families at International that had food insecurities. It's the way that the kids and the families carry themselves, you wouldn't be able to tell until you build a relationship with the kids and their families
Yeah.
to the point where they are then going to open up to you that they have a food insecurity.
Yeah.
And it's great because I mean NJCDC provides food, but also I work with St. Paul's, and St. Paul's delivers food bi-weekly, and it's always way more than we need currently, but the bags always go. We're never left with a bag by the end of the month, and we're waiting on the next shipment. So it's really awesome seeing kids walk out with 4 full bags of what they need.
Yeah.
And then I'm able to ask the next day, like, what'd you make for dinner? And they're like, oh, I tried this recipe on TikTok. And they had, a couple things at home and then just enough from the bags to
Yeah.
try something new, which, maybe they wouldn't have. Maybe they'd be too ashamed or embarrassed to ask. And that's, while it's understandable, nobody should feel ashamed to ask for food.
Yeah.
This is like a basic human right for everyone. So I like being able to provide that and be that resource.
Yeah. 100%.
And the teachers also feel as attached to that resource as I do, because they don't even have to go to me. The kids don't have to talk to me at all to ask for the food. The kids can talk to the teachers, and the teachers know where to get it. And the teachers just hand me their name just so I have it on, just for my record. So I
Hmm.
know like which families might need more food in the future and how much more to get,
Yeah.
for ordering purposes. But it's really, really rewarding.
That's
It's
fantastic.
amazing.
That's great. Thank you for touching upon that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
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 I wanted to talk about some of the success stories you've had, because I know you talked so much about the impacts your programs have made. But is there one story that kind of pops out in your mind that had a great impact on you and a great impact on the students?
There are a lot of stories. There are a lot of stories. So maybe I more generally might say that I see the students advocating for themselves more, speaking up and asking for what they want and need, and being okay with getting no. I say no
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
I also say yes a lot, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like, and I hope that I've created an environment where kids are comfortable enough to ask me for anything or ask anyone else in the building for anything. And I kind of do see that happening. And yeah, there are a lot of no's because sometimes it's, Mr. Adam, can you get this 5090 graphics card? No, that's like $3,000 or
Yo.
something. We are okay with the high end graphics card we have in the computer we have right now.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
there's like some crazy ones. And then there's like simpler ones like, hey, Mr. Adam, can we do a movie night for the juniors or whatever? I'm like, that's an awesome idea. I have the popcorn in the machine. We'll get some water. Like that's an awesome idea.
Yeah.
So they feel like they have a lot more creative freedom and also control in their own building, and they feel like they're a part of it. But I really, it wouldn't be fair to point to one specific success story.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned so many already.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And after this podcast, I'm gonna ask you for funding for a 5090 myself.
Yeah. Right.
I might. We'll see what happens. I won't. Who knows, guys?
If anyone has any insane grants that could just go right in the trash, the graphics cards.
Yo, let's go.
Please.
Yo, come to us. Come to us.
That's only 1/10 of a computer, but
Hey, listen.
For that price,
I'll take it. I'll take. Yo, there you go. What the kids are gonna do with the 5090?
That's what I was like. You're not. I can't even name a game that needs it. Like I genuinely can't name a game.
No, you need something for like if you're gonna do like a video editing class, for example, or like some sort of high end thing, because like
or like architecture,
something like that. Maybe it'll justify.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, no, we have a 4070 in the.
I'm giving them ideas right now. This is dangerous.
Yeah, right.
This is dangerous.
They're gonna, Mr. Adam, please, we really want to do architecture. We're so interested.
Yeah. Let me.
I'll just sell my car to get some graphics cards. Yeah.
Let me cut it right there before you have to sell your car and you're walking over here next time.
Exactly.
So you've been here for 3 years, right?
Yes.
How do you see the future of these programs growing?
So while I've been here for 3 years, I have seen us tack on a bunch of new schools for full service specifically. I don't remember the exact number we were at, but we're now at 15. We have 13 in Paterson, and we've been so successful, we've branched out to Passaic. We have 2 schools in Passaic that are now part of the Paterson Full Service Community School Program. We're, of course, a little fearful right now when it comes to funding because of what's going on over in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
It's left us a little uneasy, to be honest. But I will say I am as positive as they come, and I am a huge we're going to be okay guy. Okay. I really believe that. And there's a couple misunderstandings too about, at least in my opinion, and please correct me if I'm wrong. But yes, some programs are getting cut. Okay. But what's really happening is a lot of the individual programs aren't existing in the scope that they are right now, or won't exist in the scope that they are right now as like individual entities. They're going to be combined into this one sort of funding pool, and the funding will be handed out there with or without the DOE. The funding will be given out. Will it be all of it? No. Will it be would it be the same as we used to get? Who knows? All I know is that we can stay positive. We can still go to work, right? You don't just stop. Just because you're afraid of something, you don't start slacking off. Then there's even more of a reason to cut your program, right?
100%.
Now the data is horrible. Now it looks like you're not doing anything there. So if anything, this is the time where we work our absolute hardest. We really get our numbers to where, not just where we want them to be, to where they're so noticeable that you can't deny that these programs deserve funding.
Yeah. 100%.
Right. There are maybe a billion things I can think of that deserve less funding, that aren't as impactful as education.
100%. I'm also remaining optimistic. I'm also kind of in the mindset where it's like, just plan like, there's a tomorrow. So that's kind of the attitude I'm going for as well.
Exactly. And what I will say is I really commend David Gelman, the supervisor here at NJCDC, and of course, Jenna Goodrow, the supervisor at Full Service. Jenna works so hard to get these grants for us. Her and her team are amazing at requesting these grants, and they've obviously created. I don't want to, gas this up too much, but I believe we have the most schools in one district for full service in the country. I'm pretty
Oh,
sure.
really?
Yeah,
Oh,
and I
wow.
know that for sure because this just happened randomly one day. If you Google for full service community schools, the Paterson full service website comes up first before the federal full service website. So
Oh, wow.
like there's so much, I guess, traffic on the site and it's being updated so regularly that that is what comes up before the actual federal explanation of what an FSCS school is. So I have no doubt that Jenna and NJCDC will figure out something, and they're very resourceful.
Most definitely.
I mean, look how big NJCDC is, right? It wouldn't
Yeah.
have gotten here if they weren't great at requesting grants and forging these connections with people who want to put money in the right places, essentially, right? That's the idea of a nonprofit.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I think that was it for today.
Okay.
Is there any, so just again, for people who go to international high school, for the students, where can they find you, and anything else you want to plug? This is your opportunity.
So this being the first year international, I haven't had too much time to make a social media or anything like that for
Okay.
the school, but that will happen very soon, and we'll update you guys on what those socials are. We've played around with podcasting a little bit. We have a couple recorded. We are looking to do a more formal setup with adult students, families, etc., and some mukbangs, which are,
Oh, man.
if
I'm
anyone
sure.
doesn't know, it's just those videos where someone's trying a bunch of new food or something in front of the camera, like as a
Yeah, yeah.
group or sometimes alone, and talking about
I'm
it.
sure the students are gonna have a great time with that.
That's yeah. What the first one is like different like Japanese like instant noodles, and I'm gonna make them like Japanese curry and all
Oh,
these
wow.
things, these snacks.
I'm
One of
definitely have to update that when that drops. You know what
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean?
no,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
absolutely. And then, we'll do an Instagram. We have a photography club as well. So I want to get their pictures up on that Instagram. We're doing some videography stuff with Oasis.
Okay.
A couple of our kids go there to learn. They've actually already done it. So maybe we can post that somewhere. It's just a
Okay.
short film on Oasis's history.
Okay.
And it was completely shot and recorded by our students.
Oh, I would love to see that. Yeah.
So, these kids are doing great things, and I'd like to highlight them on the social medias, but once I
Yeah.
create them.
Once you create them. So,
Yeah,
can
maybe
you
within
remind
a
us?
month or so.
Can you remind us again what room you're located at?
Yeah, so the Teen Center is room 418 in International High School. It's on the
Okay.
4th floor. If you ever need anything, please contact the main office or my email, which is available on the Paterson Full Service website. My name is Adam Jawiech. Just email me right there.
Most definitely, and I can also include that in the description. Your email, just for those
Yes,
who want to reach out. 100%.
absolutely.
All right. Well, Adam, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I hope to see you in here one day again, and thanks for coming down and talking with me.
Thank you so much, Danny. Again, you have an awesome setup. I really loved being here today.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.